Assalamualaikum. I will begin our presentation for IAD489 Design Seminar. Our research title is The Impact of Different Lighting Sources on User Behavior for Library. Our group consists of 4 members. The members are myself, Nurhani Zakira binti Muhammad Hafiz, Nur Ismarini Nadira binti Nur Fauzi, Umuhani binti Abu Zarim, and Nurin Hidayati binti Muhammad Sabri. For today's presentation, we will cover 8 main sections. First, we will start with the research overview and introduction. Then, we will explain the methodology, framework, observation sheet, and observation sheet outcome. After that, we will present the data analysis from Chart 1 to Chart 5, followed by the comparative summary table, summary of findings, and finally, the discussion. This research focuses on the impact of different lighting sources on users' experience in library reading spaces. For the observation, we studied lighting sources, daylight availability, user behavior, and environmental quality in 5 selected libraries. The research process aims to understand how natural and artificial lighting influence comfort, reading activities, and overall user experience. The expected outcome is to identify lighting conditions that can improve comfort and support better library reading environments. Lighting is an important element in library design because it affects visual comfort, reading performance, and overall user experience. In library spaces, users usually spend long hours reading, studying, or doing research. So, suitable lighting is needed to support concentration and comfort. The problem is that previous studies mostly focus on lighting quality and technical performance, while fewer studies looked at how lighting affects users' behavior and experience in actual library reading spaces. Therefore, the objective of this research is to investigate the influence of different lighting sources on users' comfort and overall experience in library reading spaces. Now, I will pass to Umuhani to continue with the selected libraries and methodology framework.
My name is Umuhani, and I will continue with the next session. For this study, we selected 5 libraries in Perak as our case studies. The selected libraries are Pustakaan Tun Abdul Razak UiTM Sri Iskandar, UTP Information Resource Centre or IRC, Perpustakaan Awam Tun Razak Perak, Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Ipoh Perak, and Perpustakaan Awam Batu Gajah. These libraries were chosen because each library has different lighting conditions and combination of natural daylight and artificial lighting, which allow us to compare their effects on user experience. In this slide, I will explain our research methodology framework. Our research topic is the impact of different lighting sources on library user experience. In phase 1, we begin with a desktop study. We conduct a background study by reviewing previous research to understand how natural and artificial lightings affect visual comfort, reading performance, and the overall user experience in library spaces. Based on this review, our main aim is to evaluate how different lighting sources influence users' comfort, focus, and the amount of time they spend in the library. This provides the foundation for the next stages of our research. Next, I will explain phases 2, 3, and 4 of our methodology. In phase 2, we collect data using observation sheets, notebooks, and a phone camera for documentations. We apply a non-participant observation method where we observe user behavior, assess the lighting conditions, and record photographs without interfering with the user's activities. In phase 3, we analyze the collected data using a mixed method approach which combines both quantitative and qualitative analysis to provide a more complete understanding of the results. Finally, in phase 4, our findings show that different lighting sources affect users' visual comfort, reading performance, behavior, and overall satisfaction in the library. Based on these findings, we conclude that appropriate lighting levels and a balanced combination of natural and artificial lighting can improve user comfort, support reading activities, and create a better library environment.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ismarini Nadirah binti Nur Fauzi and I will be presenting the research instrument and data analysis for our group. To begin, I would like to introduce the method we use for our data collection. We develop an observation sheet as our primary instrument to evaluate how different lighting sources impact library users' comfort and behavior. This checklist consists of 7 main sections designed for systematic data collection. For section A to C is to record general information, the specific area observed, and the existing lighting sources available in the space. For the section D and E is to document natural daylight, availability, and its direct impact on user behavior, such as whether user experience glare, change seats frequently, or shows signs of eye strain. For the section F and G is to evaluate the overall environmental condition, including cleanliness, quietness, and the final user experience rating under the current lighting condition. So, we utilize this checklist format to maintain consistency and allow accurate comparison across all selected libraries. Okay, next, for the case studies, our data was gathered through on-site observations at 5 selected libraries in Perak. The case studies include Perpustakaan Tun Abdul Razak, PITAR UiTM Sri Iskandar, Information Resource Centre UTP, Perpustakaan Awam Tun Razak Ipoh, Perpadanan Perpustakaan Awam Negeri Perak, and Perpustakaan Awam Batu Gajah. By applying the exact same observation sheet across these 5 locations, we ensure complete consistency in assessing lighting quality and user response. From this observation sheet, we successfully obtained the full results for all of our case studies. Okay, next, for the data analysis and findings. For the chart 1 shows the frequency of lighting sources used in 5 selected libraries based on 5 lighting types, which is natural daylight, fluorescent light, downlight, spotlight, and desk lamp. We conclude the data in bar chart. The x-axis represents the types of lighting sources, while the y-axis represents the frequency, which is the number of libraries. Looking at the data distribution, natural daylight and fluorescent light achieve the highest frequency, being utilized by all the 5 libraries, including PITAR UiTM, IRC UTP, Perpustakaan Awam Tun Razak, Perpadanan Perpustakaan Ipoh, and Perpustakaan Awam Batu Gajah. Downlight are used less frequently, appearing in only 2 libraries, which are Perpustakaan Awam Tun Razak and Perbadanan Perpustakaan Ipoh, while spotlight and desk lamp recorded the lowest frequency with only 1 library, which is Perbadanan Perpustakaan Ipoh. Overall, natural daylight and fluorescent light were the most frequently used lighting sources, while downlight, spotlights, and desk lamp were used less frequently. This finding suggests that the selected libraries primarily rely on natural daylight and fluorescent light to provide adequate illumination for reading and learning activities. In conclusion, understanding this lighting distribution is highly essential in spatial design to effectively optimize visual comfort for future library users. Let's conclude my part of the presentation.
Next, I will explain chart 2, which compare daylight availability, proximity to windows, and visual discomfort across the 5 selected libraries. The chart shows that Perpustakaan Tun Abdul Razak UiTM and Perpustakaan Tun Razak Ipoh achieved the highest positive responses at 80%, indicating better natural daylight and more comfortable reading spaces. UTP, IRC, and Perpustakaan Awam Batu Gajah followed with 60%, showing moderate lighting performance with some room for improvement. In contrast, Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Ipoh Perak recorded 0%, suggesting limited daylight access and greater reliance on artificial lighting. Overall, the findings indicate that libraries with sufficient natural daylight and well-planned window placement provide a more comfortable and user-friendly reading environment, which supports better visual comfort and reading experience.
I'm Nurin. Now I will continue with the next data analysis, which is chart 3. Present the comparative analysis of user behavior under different lighting conditions across 5 selected libraries. So based on the observation, the most common behavior recorded that the user consistently choose seat with the better lighting, as this was observed in all 5 libraries. So this indicates that the lighting plays an important role in influencing where user prefer to study. In addition, 4 out of 5 libraries show that the user remain in the reading area for a longer period, avoid poorly lit areas, and were able to maintain their focus for reading. So this suggests that a comfortable lighting environment encourages a longer study session and a better concentration. Meanwhile, only a small number of users show signs of eye strain or visual fatigue, and no user observes changing seat frequently or using personal lighting device. So this indicating that the existing lighting condition was generally sufficient for a reading activities. Overall, this chart demonstrates that the lighting condition directly influence user sitting preference, reading behavior, and interaction with the library spaces.
For chart 4, this graph shows the environmental quality of 5 selected library reading spaces. The criteria measured are overall lighting environment, cleanliness of area, sitting condition, quietness of space, and reading area adequacy. The rating scale used is from poor, moderate to good. Overall, the chart shows that most libraries achieve moderate to good environmental quality. PITA UITM and IRC UTP recorded strong results, with most criteria rated as good, especially for lighting, cleanliness, seating condition, and reading area adequacy. Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Ipoh also performed well in cleanliness, seating, quietness, and reading area adequacy, although the overall lighting environment was only moderate. However, Perpustakaan Tun Razak Ipoh recorded a weaker result compared to the others, especially because its overall lighting environment was rated poor, while several other criteria were only moderate. Perpustakaan Awam Batu Gajah also showed mostly moderate conditions, particularly in lighting, quietness, and reading area adequacy. From this finding, it can be understood that a comfortable library reading space depends not only on lighting, but also on overall environment. Cleanliness, seating comfort, quietness, and adequate reading areas also plays an important role in supporting a better user experience. Chart 5 shows the overall user experience rating across the 5 selected libraries under the current lighting conditions. From the chart, UTP Information Resource Center recorded the highest score with an excellent rating, followed by PITA UITM Seri Iskandar with a good rating. Meanwhile, Perpustakaan Tun Razak Ipoh, Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Ipoh, and Perpustakaan Awam Batu Gajah recorded moderate ratings. These indicate that libraries with better lighting and environmental quality tend to provide a more comfortable and positive user experience. Overall, the findings suggest that suitable lighting conditions together with a supportive environment can improve comfort and support users' reading activities. That is all for my data analysis part. Next, Nuri will continue with the comparative summary table.
Next is table 1, which summarizes the overall finding from 5 selected libraries by combining lighting condition, user behavior, and the overall observation. So, from the table, we can see that all libraries utilize a combination of natural daylight and fluorescent lighting as their main lighting sources. However, the quality of the lighting environment differed from one library to another. Among all the libraries, the UTP Information Resource Center record the best overall performance. The balanced combination of natural daylight and artificial lighting create a bright and comfortable environment where users remain focused and demonstrated to positive reading behavior. On the other hand, Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Ipoh relied mainly on artificial lighting due to limited natural daylight. Although reading activity was still support, but there is room for improvement in terms of daylight integration. Overall, the comparative summary shows that libraries with well-balanced lighting conditions generally provide better visual comfort, encourage users to stay longer, and create more positive reading experience.
To summarize our findings, we found that lighting sources significantly influence users' comfort and overall experience in library reading spaces. Libraries that combine natural daylight with well-planned artificial lighting provide better visual comfort and encourage longer reading durations. On the other hand, libraries with limited daylight or inconsistent lighting receive lower user experience rating. Among the 5 selected libraries, the UTP Information Resource Center or IRC achieved the highest overall user experience due to its balanced lighting environment. Overall, the findings confirm that effective lighting design enhances visual comfort, user behavior, and the overall quality of library spaces.
Next, I will present the discussion of this study. Overall, the finding shows that lighting conditions significantly influence user behavior, visual comfort, and overall experience in the library reading spaces. So basically, the libraries that provide a balanced combination of natural daylight, artificial lighting, generally create more comfortable and conducive learning environment. Regarding ethical consideration, this study adopted a non-participant observation method. No personal information was collected, and all the observations were conducted without disturbing libraries users. However, this study was limited to 5 selected libraries in Perak and relied solely on an observation method. Therefore, the finding may not fully represent all library environments. Based on the findings, libraries are encouraged to maximize natural daylight, provide consistent artificial lighting, and regularly maintain lighting facilities. So basically, future studies should involve more libraries and include questionnaires or interview to obtain more comprehensive findings. So in conclusion, this study successfully achieved its research objective by demonstrating that appropriate lighting design contributes to better visual comfort, positive user behavior, and improved overall library experience. So with that, we have come to the end of our video presentation. We sincerely thank you to our respected lecturer for your kind attention. Thank you.